Wow, 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 wow. Happy little Wow Wednesday. Wow Wednesday. Wow Wednesday. It's a happy little Wow Wednesday. And we are live. It's not Memorex. We are live. Hello, peoples. So, every one of us scrolled here with something in our mind. A battle of some sort. And the truth is simple. Your life is always moving in the direction of your dominant focus. See, after my house fire, my focus was to rebuild. And rebuild I did. I focused entirely on building the business. I focused entirely on turning that little rinky-dinky computer store that made less than 20 grand a year into a major nationwide security camera business. By changing things over and over, adapting and migrating and changing things over the years as I needed as the times went by. I evolved. Went from selling office supplies to fixing computers to selling computers to offering internet cafe to offering internet services to expanding and offering internet services outside of the county, outside of the state, to offering VoIP service, to offering on-site internet services. Hello. To eventually offering network services, on-site programs, send a tech anywhere in the United States to fix things, to finally, ultimately, security cameras. And so when your focus is shattered or scattered, your energy is drained and scattered. That's why they say that, well, I'm a multitasker. No, you're not. You're just slower at doing what you need to get done. See, multitasking really does suck. And I've always been a multitasker. Always. At any given time, I've got 8 or 9 things going on my computer at once. All right. But those 8 or 9 things are all evolved into one centralized focus. And so what happens is even though I'm focused on 8 or 9 little things, I'm still not focused on one thing at a time. So those 8 or 9 little things never actually get done because I'm focused on 8 or 9 things and not just one. And nothing changes until you focus on one thing at a time. See, you don't need more strength to get the job done. You don't need more time to get the job done. You need more aim. You need more laser focus on the task at hand. Because where your focus goes, your energy flows. And of course, where your energy flows, your life grows. See, people aren't exhausted because they're weak. They're exhausted because they are unfocused. Might explain a lot for myself right now. I've got a lot going on right now, and I feel like I'm being torn in 800 different ways. Let's put it this way: I kind of feel like I wish I was William Wallace right now on that one. At least that's only like 5 different ways he was torn into. But you know what? What's happening is distractions steal your destiny. And those distractions take your attention. And those attention leaks become energy leaks. So we're going to try and fix those leaks. Sorry, my eyes hurt today. What we're going to do is we're going to focus on a force multiplier. All right. Do we know what a force multiplier is? It's where we amplify our energy on one thing. And by amplifying our energy on one thing, we're able to try to not just take, it's like, easiest way to put it is, well, everybody's got a cell phone. They live on their phone, don't you? And so what happens is we sit there one-handedly and we text people one-handedly. Well, what happens is if we try and decide to add a force multiplier, wow, we can text faster. We can really text somebody a new one, right? Because now we got both hands on there. We're just going to thumb town. That's a force multiplier. Because now instead of having one hand texting somebody and the other hand over here petting our cat or writing notes or whatever, scratching our ear or whatever, we're able to try and force multiply, focus on whatever it is we're doing on our phone or whatever we're doing on the keyboard or whatever it is that we're working on. That's called a force multiplier. And what happens is the brain amplifies whatever you repeatedly think about. So if you're able to try and take both your hands and work on one thing at a time, your brain is now focusing on not just the left and the right. Now you're able to focus entirely on this one spot here where both the left and the right are working on the same thing. Did I ever tell you about a buddy of mine in Florida? Yeah, he was out swimming and he got attacked by a bunch of sharks. Yeah. Yeah, he got attacked by a bunch of sharks. They chewed off his left arm and his left leg. Brutal. He's all right now. But I just had to throw that in there. Because when you try and focus on pulling your left and right hands together to work on something, that's pulling your left and right brain together to work on something. I know it's a bad joke. But you know what? I had to try a different joke than my airplane jokes that don't take off. At least that joke didn't crash like my airplane jokes. I mean, it might have drowned, but might have sunk. I mean, maybe that's what I should do is on a Saturday try and go live and just start throwing out bad dad jokes all day long. And I'll stop when people start throwing more isk at me. Isk? What the heck? I'm on Eve mode. That's a sign from God. No. But you know what? See, your focus creates momentum. All right? Because the brain amplifies whatever you really, really think about. And if you think about negative things all the time, guess what you're going to get? If you're always trying to sit in there thinking about, oh man, it's going to be a bad day. Well, guess what? The universe is going to manifest it to be a bad day for you. Focus creates momentum. Because when you start focusing on things, you tend to get energized and you start wanting to try and work towards it. Because that momentum creates your identity. And your identity creates your behavior. And then you're known as something. That identity is what carries you. That identity is what people see you as. Sort of like a laser is just a light. I mean, seriously, honestly. You look at the sun, and the sun shines on you. If you stay out in the sun too long, what's gonna happen? You're gonna get sunburned, right? But you know what? What happens if you take a magnifying glass? Ah, you take a magnifying glass and you position it just so you can you can you can actually focus that sunlight into a little pinpoint laser, and you can start burning things in wood, or watch ants blow up, or set your mother's back porch on fire. Wait, no, we won't talk about that. But you know what? The sunlight is just sunlight until it's focused. And once it's focused, that's when you can cause damage. That's when you can cause damage. See, there's actually this thing out there, whereas you want to be careful. Recently, people are saying that you shouldn't keep water bottles in your car during the sunlight, because the sun can actually come through, and the sun can actually hit the bottle just right to cause a burn on your seat, and your car seat can catch on fire, and then your car catches on fire. True story. True story. You want to know what? Inquiring minds want to know. Oh, the fire? I was probably about 7 or 8 years old, and I was playing with a magnifying glass, blowing ants up. And I realized that after you blow up the ant with the sun and a magnifying glass, that it actually burns in the wood, and it turns the wood brown. And while I was watching that, and it was really cool because there was a spot where the dog was chewing, and I noticed that where the dog was chewing, it was like, splintery. And sure enough, that caught fire. Yep, that caught fire. And being the little inquisitive little kid I am, I thought, hey, cool, an indoor campfire. Yeah. 4-story apartment building back porch burnt down, thanks to yours truly. So, yeah. The sun can be just the sun, but until you laser light it, until you focus it, you can actually do some damage with it. Imagine how you could be if you took your focus on one thing and you turn that focus into a laser. Maybe it's working on making more money. Maybe it's making that business plan. Maybe it's getting back into school. Maybe it's working on losing weight. Maybe it's working on that business or on that book that you're writing. Maybe it's starting that nonprofit organization that you want. Because see, some of us need to shift our attention. We need to pull out that magnifying glass and focus our attention on what we want, as opposed to feeding those distractions. And we know what we're talking about distraction-wise, don't we? That's one. Another one is gaming, going out, hang out with the boys on a Friday night, drinking all night long. Or going out and girls night out. I'm not saying you can't do that, but I mean, if you were spend that time focusing on your business plan, where would you be? Because you need to try and shift your intention. Not just shift your attention, but you need to shift your intention. Say that 5 times fast. Shift your attention, shift your intention. Shift your attention, shift your intention. Because not only do you have to stop feeding your distractions, but now you have to decide what matters. Ooh, what matters? Yeah, what matters? Find the why. Because when you shift your attention in intention and you find out why you want to try and start that business, why you want to go back to school, why you want to start that nonprofit organization, why you want to read that book, why you want to lose weight, why you want to do whatever it is that your dream is. That's like trying and taking that magnifying glass sun to my mom's back porch and lighting it on fire. You're focusing that energy. So now not only are you shifting your attention, but you're shifting your intention. You're starving those distractions and you're focusing on what matters. And then that's when you shift your direction. And you know what we're talking about when we say shift direction. It's like taking a steering wheel and go, oh, we're on our way to our dreams now. And we turn and we focus on our dreams. We keep going. We aim that energy we have on one target and we go for it. We want to start that business. Fine, let's go for it. If you did the same thing you've done, if you do the same thing for the next 5 years you've done for the last 5 years, where will you be? All I hear are crickets. Well, that's because I got the window open, but seriously, think about this. All right, I want you to go to bed tonight thinking about this. And you know, if you have to stay up all night thinking about this, go for it. If you did the same thing for the next 5 years that you've done for the last 5 years, where will you be? See, it's time to shift your direction. Your future is waiting on your focus. And sometimes you have to aim your focus like a weapon. You gotta try and just aim it. You know, you gotta name your distractions. Grab a piece of paper, grab your notebook. I got a brand new notebook. I've already added notes to it. The other one's full. I still carry it around because I'm copying notes from that one to this one that are important from that one that aren't finished from that one and into this one. So why am I still carrying that one? Because there are a lot of notes in that one I completed. So therefore, why carry the completed notes into the new notebook? I just carry the old notes that aren't completed into the new notebook. And then I got room for new notes for the new notebook. See, you got to name your distraction. You know, it's pencil, paper, write it down. Name your distractions. Name the things that are taking you away from your dreams. And then name your direction. Where do you want to go? What targets do you want to reach in your life? Because like I said, if you do what you've done for the last 5 years, where will you be in the next 5 years? The one quote I always loved, if you always do what you always did, you always get what you always got. I love that quote. It just rolls right off the tongue. I mean, I honestly don't even know who said it. I think Ed Foreman or I think Ed Foreman said it. I could be wrong. I mean, I could be wrong. But if you always do what you always got, you always get what you always got. If you always do what you always did, you'll always get what you always got. Yeah, there we go. That's it. Which basically means that if you do the same thing you've done for the last 5 years without making a change, where will you be in the next 5 years? So you got to name your direction. Where are you going? What are you going to do? Write down. Where do you want to be in 5 years? What kind of car do you want to drive in 5 years? What kind of house do you want to live in 5 years? How much money do you want to carry around in your pocket in the next 5 years? What kind of food do you want to eat in the next 5 years? How much do you want to weigh in the next 5 years? What kind of computer do you want in 5 years? What kind of TV do you want on your wall in the next 5 years? What kind of books are you going to be reading in 5 years? What are your kids going to be looking up to you in 5 years about? Where are you going to travel in 5 years? Where are you going to go? Who are you going to be hanging out with in 5 years? These are all things to think about. And if you don't make a change right now, I can guarantee you, I can tell you exactly where you're going to be in 5 years if you don't make any changes right now. Just look at where you've been for the last 5 years. Look at the people around you right now. Look at what you have right now. Because if you try and do the same thing you've done for the last 5 years, you're going to have the same thing you have right now. Because you have to shift your energy. You have to make your next move. So not only do you have to name your distractions on your paper, but you have to try and name your direction. Name the things that are taking you away from your future. Name where do you want to go with your future. And now you have to name what your next move is. What is the next thing you're going to do to get there? Because see, tonight's not about motivation. Motivation is just a feeling. Heck, I'll be honest, I haven't felt motivated today at all. And I'm a motivational speaker. But you know what? I'm disciplined. I'm consistent. And as long as you have those two things in you, you'll be fine. Because being disciplined and being consistent, they will try and keep you focused on your dreams. And that's why I said tonight's not about motivation. It's about mastery. Mastery of your discipline. Mastery of your consistency. Mastery of your focus. Because if you walked in here scattered, I sure hope you're leaving out of here centered. If you joined in here drained, I hope you're leaving out of here directed. Because where your focus goes, your energy flows. See, on that one, motivation is just a feeling. And feelings fade. It's sort of like motivation is fuel. It's like gas. You pump your car up with gas every day to go to work. Without gas, you don't get to work. But the real engine behind your car is your engine and your transmission. Think of discipline and consistency as your engine and your transmission. And you are there putting your key in the ignition. Because once you start that, you put gas in and you start it, that's where the motivation comes in. It gives you fuel to focus on that discipline and that consistency. But it takes discipline and consistency to put the key in ignition and put it to start. Because see, your life is already following your focus. We're all carrying something in our life that we want. And something that we don't want. A lot of us carry fear. A lot of us carry fear. Heck, I'm fearful. I'm terrified of some things at times. I'm terrified of elephants. Go figure on that one, right? But no, seriously. Some people are afraid of speaking in front of people. Yeah, I'm not. That's a piece of cake. Some people are afraid of lobsters. Some people are afraid of the dark. Some people are afraid of falling. And some people are afraid of falling on lobsters in the dark. But you know what? Your life is always moving in the direction of your focus. See, I didn't need more strength to get past the house fire. I needed to focus. I was busy, but I wasn't productive at times because I kept getting pulled back into the depression. Even now, I get pulled back into the depression because I lost so much with that house fire. And then I get pulled into being busy, but I'm not productive.
Daddy, can you brush my hair?
I'm in the middle of my live stream, but I can brush hair. I can talk while brushing hair. Dad moment. Single dad moment. And so, long story short,
do it harder. Mom does that. So yeah.
People aren't tired. They're just unfocused.
Yeah. You have to do like. Yeah.
All right. People aren't broken. They're just distracted. And so when you try to focus on your distractions, you're not giving yourself the credit you deserve because you're giving the distractions your credit. But when you focus on your productivity, when you focus on your dreams, because see what happens is as life goes on, we tend to forget about our dreams.
You have to do it harder, Dad.
We tend to forget about our dreams because life gets in the way.
There's a tangle right here.
Life gets in the way from our dreams. All right, there you go, babe. Good night. Life gets in the way of our dreams and we tend to forget about them. We put them on the back burner. And well, we can't let that happen. The dreams are what keep us going. More people are more concerned about somebody stealing their car or their wallet than they are about somebody putting them down about their dreams. And I guarantee you on this one, if somebody puts you down about your dreams, get rid of them. Don't waste your energy on them. Because a lot of people will chase the people down after their car or their wallets, but they'll just sit there and let the person talk about their dreams and put them down, and they'll just take it and let them steal their dreams. And you know what? The car might take you to work, but your dreams will take you farther than that. Let them take the car. Let them take the wallet. Fix your leaks. Fix the distractions. Fix your attention. Find your why. Shift to your intention. Your intention is what matters. Because otherwise the world's going to decide for you. And when the world decides for you where you should go, it just pushes your dreams out of the way. What's this? Okay. Unicorns. Okay. And you know what? And think about the last 7 days. What stole your focus? The last 7 days, what have you accomplished in the last 7 days? What did you want to accomplish in the last 7 days? So what stole your focus? And what fed it? Because not to try and go back on the 5-year thing, if you do what you did for the last 7 days, for the next 7 days, where will you be?
Hey, Daddy, look. It appears like magic.
Cool. Oh, I always love those books. If you don't make a shift, you're going to be right where you're at. Your future is waiting on your motivation. Your future is waiting on you making that direction change. Your future is waiting for you to say, hey, I have a dream and I'm not lazy. Because you've withstood more than people know. You've seen more than people seen. Now it's time to win in a way that nobody can ignore. It's time to step up and move like your future is waiting on you. Get rid of your distractions. Focus on your directions and name your next move. Because I believe in you. You need to believe in you.